Everyone is worth it. Just one more time to see if YouTube works. If it doesn't work, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But okay. Oh, finally, yes! Now it's working. Woohoo! Very good. I had 5 people in there waiting for. I'm sure you can understand me. All right, good. So now we are all in here. We have 20 viewers. I promise I'm not trying to put ads. It's not me. It's just Twitch, okay? So, I will set some rules. I didn't put rules yet, but please, we are focused into science and we try not to use our names. You will see that I always refer to you as your nickname in here, but it's just to protect your privacy, okay? So there is no comments in YouTube. I don't know how to put the stupid comments. Oh, all right. I will put that later. Okay? I really don't want to waste time. I want to talk about the digestive system. Yes? All right. Good. So, let me show you one image that is going to help me to go through the digestive system, okay? Because I will stop one by one on which are those functions of the digestive system. And also I will tell you what are the things that you need to know about the digestive system. There is one part that students normally find it quite complicated, which is the enzymes. That's going to be one of my focus in today's lesson. Also because I love enzymes, to be honest. I think it is quite fascinating topic. All right. So you should be able to see the image pretty soon. Let me put a full image. Okay. All right. So if I go to my All right, can you hear me now? Yes. You can hear me. Guys, we are learning. No, I'm not. I am here. Guys, I'm here with you. I will not abandon you. I am here with you. I just want to share with you one image that is in my internet. Okay. So I should be able to share it with you now. Not yet. Sorry, I know it's pitch black and this is not very fun. Okay. Aha, here is the image. Why this is not listening to me? At least the music is very good. Okay, here we go. Hey, but now it's covering my face. That's not what I want. There we go. Okay. All right, so we are learning. You see that I even put the logo. Okay, this is what I want. There you go. Fantastic. Okay, so there we have the image that represents our digestive system. Could you please tell me if you can see it? Yes, it is there. Wonderful. We see what's over in the appendix again. All right, let's talk about the function of every single one of those parts, okay? Let's talk about the part of... Okay, I see that the YouTube is still a bit slow. All right. Damp. What is damp? What do you mean with damp? Okay. First of all, the digestive system is the group of organs which mission is, first of all, to get the nutrients from the food, yes, so we can have all our basic functions. And in terms of digestion, you see that there are different types of not digestion, but there are different ways to treat the food. Starting from the food, the mouth, which is, as you see, the beginning of the digestive system. The function of the mouth is what we call mechanical digestion. Okay, we call that mechanical because the function of the mouth is to literally break down the food in pieces. All right, and why is it breaking down in pieces? Because in that way it will be much easier to process the food later on. Okay, so you wouldn't have people like 10 years because they have already learned this. No, because year 11 they also have digestive system in their GCSE exam. There is also one part of the digestive system which is in there, the salivary glands. And the salivary glands, they also play a fundamental role because they produce an enzyme called amylase. And I write it down in there, amylase. The amylase is an enzyme which function is start to digest the carbohydrates. For those who don't remember the carbohydrates, we can find the carbohydrates, for example, in bread. So the digestion of this sort of food starts already in the mouth, okay? From the very beginning, it starts already in the mouth. So first, the teeth, they break down the food, and then the salivary gland, they make the food wet, so it's easy to swallow it. And also, the digestion of some of those nutrients starts already in the mouth. After that, it goes through the esophagus. Don't confuse the esophagus with the trachea. The trachea is, they share the same tube up to here. Okay? In here, there is a division, and the esophagus continues to the stomach. Meanwhile, the trachea goes to the lungs. As you can imagine, it's very important that the food doesn't enter into the lungs, otherwise you will choke. You will choke. That's why there is a membrane that stops the food to get into your lungs. And that's why you should never eat and talk at the same time. Because if you eat and talk at the same time, food can enter into your lungs, and we don't want that. We don't want that, okay? So once we have the, thank you, don't use real names, please. Once we have the food into the stomach, digestion continues. Still, we have not absorbed any of the nutrients. At the moment, we are just transforming the food into something that our body can absorb. Because regardless how delicious the pizza is, our body cannot turn the pizza into something useful. Okay? The pizza needs to go through the process of digestion. All right, so now we are in the stomach. What is happening in the stomach? The stomach is like a bag of meat, but inside there, it is full of a very, very, very strong acid. Very strong acid. I'm not saying that the pizza is not useful. The pizza is useful, but your body needs to take the pizza and go through some transformations, all right? You cannot just eat the pizza and your body's gonna absorb it and transform it into nutrients. It needs to go through this process that I am talking about. So once we have the food in the stomach, good question, and actually that is in the exam, the acid is called hydrochloric acid, okay? No amino, no, hydrochloric. If you want the chemical formula, is HCl. It's called hydro because it has hydrogen, and chloric because it has chlorine. Very straightforward. You know, I always say that scientists, we are not very creative with the names, okay? Hydrochloric acid. And it's very strong. It's very, very, very strong. It's stronger than lemon juice. It's stronger than Coca-Cola. It's stronger than many acids you can think about. Your stomach acid is very, very, very strong. And the function is just to melt, literally to melt the food as much as possible, okay? Obviously not the food is gonna be easily melted. That's why I punched the microphone, sorry. It is stronger than me. Depends. Okay? But some food is more difficult to digest. That's why you can have a stomach pain. When you eat something that is heavy or something difficult to digest. Alright? And for example, spicy food, it can also hurt your stomach. And if there are some disease, like for example, an ulcer, will mean that your stomach is burning itself, and it's very, very painful. It can even produce a bleeding into the stomach. Very, very painful. All right? After that, the food goes into the large intestine and the small intestine, starting with the small intestine. All right? It's called small intestine, but it's actually the largest. If we could take your small intestine and just take it, and just get it straight, it would be approximately 9 meters long. I want you to think about how long is that. 9 meters is probably longer than your room. So it's a lot of meters. And that is just the length of your small intestine. The large intestine is about 2 meters. 2 meters, all right? But the small intestine is called small because it's thinner. It's thinner, that's why it is called small intestine, but actually it's longer, much longer. You see in there are more organs that they are part of the digestive system, but the food does not pass through them. For example, food does not enter into the liver, or food does not enter into the pancreas. But the liver and the pancreas, they produce chemicals that they are very useful in digestion. For example, the liver produces a chemical that is called the bile. And the bile's function is to digest the lipids, and it turns the lipids into fatty acids and glycerol. Okay? For example. All right? And then we have the pancreas. The pancreas produce, let's say that the pancreas produces enzymes. Let's call it enzymes as a general name, okay? And those enzymes, they break down proteins, they break down carbohydrates, they break down further things, okay? By the way, if you want to name enzymes, the name of the enzyme tells you what does the enzyme break down. For example, the enzymes that break down proteins, they are called protease. The enzymes that breaks down lipids, they are called lipase. The enzymes that breaks down carbohydrates, they are called carbohydrates. Okay? So the name of the enzyme tells you what does the enzyme break. Okay. So now we understand the relevance of those organs, but just be aware that food does not pass through the liver, and food does not pass through the pancreas. Amylase is one enzyme. I'm talking about the general name of enzyme. It's like if I say your name is Johnny and you are part of the group 10, year 10. So lipase is the general name of the enzymes that breaks down lipids, and amylase or carbohydrates is one of them. Okay, what is happening now into the small intestine? In there is where the food is going to get absorbed, and it will enter into your blood. Okay? No, there is nothing in the test that you haven't learned yet. In the small intestine is where the food is absorbed and it goes into your bloodstream. In your intestine, there is something called the villi. The villi, I had an image of the villi. Let me see if I can show you an image of the villi. It looks like a tongue if you look at it from the microscope. If I change the screen, yes, wow, this is cool. Okay. So the villi looks like something like this. Let me show you. something like this. Okay. Or to see more details, this one is better. This one is better. Sorry, my laptop is quite slow. Quite slow. They look like hair, but obviously they are not made of hair. Okay, don't think that they are made of hair. It's not like that. They are obviously made of meat. The main thing about the villi is that it has very large surface area, meaning that it is absorbing easily the food, and also the layer, the skin layer or the thin walls, they are very thin, very, 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 very thin. Why is that? So the food can enter quickly or easily, better said, and get into your bloodstream. And once the nutrients, they are in the bloodstream, they are used by the organs in your body. For example, glucose, you're going to use it for energy. Carbohydrates, you're also going to use it for energy. Proteins, you're going to use it for growth and repair. Lipids, you're going to use it for insulation, long-term energy, and also for cell structures. For example, the cell membrane, all the cells they have cell membrane is made of lipids, okay? But in order to be able to use them, they need to be absorbed first. Does it make sense? I hope it does. So where does it go after that? It goes into the large intestine, where in there, what is going to be absorbed is the water. The water. Because the food contains water and it needs to be absorbed as well. Does it make sense? Because your body does not want to waste water. Water is very important. Without water, in 2 days, kaput. We can survive without eating for a little bit, but we cannot survive without water. That's impossible. So the large intestine, the function of the large intestine is to absorb the water as much as possible, as much as it is needed, and then get rid of everything that is not necessary. If you think about it, what is actually diarrhea, for example, which is a disease, is when your large intestine is incapable of absorbing the water from the food. That's why the poo, when you have diarrhea, is very liquid. And that's why you can get very sick when you have diarrhea. And that's why they tell you need to drink lots of water. Because the problem with diarrhea is not diarrhea itself, is that you are not able to absorb water, and that could cause a massive destruction. Without water, we are not able to perform our basic functions. Does it make sense? So get a Subway Surfers clip on top right. It's kinda empty, and also my attention span is minimal. What happened? I don't know what you mean. Anyway, I have tried to do like a summary of the whole digestive system and the different parts of the digestive system. Is there any question about any particular part of the digestive system that you would like me to go through? What do you think? Yes, no, no, yes. Shall we do like a pool? Sarah, I still don't understand. Okay. Why do digestive enzymes in your stomach need to work in very acidic conditions while others in your small intestine need a more neutral pH? Is there a limit of how much food we can eat? Yes, there is. Sarah, I still don't understand. I'm not too sure about which nutrients produce what. Okay. So we'll start from that one, and then I will go to the one about the pH. So we have 7 nutrients that you need to remember. Okay? But mostly the ones you need to know is proteins. Your body uses proteins for growth and repair. Carbohydrates is for energy. Lipids is for energy, but long-term energy. Also for insulation. It keeps you warm. And also lipids can be used for your cells to make their own structures. Then we have water, which is the main environment, the main, how to call it? solution where all the chemical reactions in your body happen. Then we have minerals, vitamins, that they are very useful in many chemical reactions. We have fiber, which is needed for the health of your guts. And that's all. Those are the 7 nutrients. And those nutrients come from the food, but we cannot just take it directly. We need to break down the food first, and then we need to go through some chemical processes to be able to absorb those nutrients into our bloodstream. Okay? Let's go with the question that was said before. We have enzymes in our body. You have enzymes in our body that they have very low pH, meaning that they work only in acid. And then we have enzymes in our body that they work in alkali environment. Why this is? Look, the enzymes, they are a bit like picky. You know these people that they are very picky with the food they eat, and they don't like any type of food, and they like their food to be cooked in a particular way, you know? They are very picky with what they eat. So the enzymes, they remind me of this kind of people. Why I'm saying that? Because the enzymes, in order to work properly, they need to work in a specific type of conditions. For example, enzymes, if they get in somewhere very warm, they stop working. If the pH is very high or very low, they stop working. If the conditions are not the appropriate, they stop working. And also, each enzyme only works for one substance. In this case, they look like keys. You know keys? The keys of your house, they only open your house. Okay? If you go with your own key, with your house key, into someone else's house, door is not going to open. Door is not going to open. Yes? So, the enzymes, they work in the same way. They react with one particular type of substance, not with any other. So 2 things. Enzymes are very picky in the conditions they perform, and also they only work with a particular type of substance. Smoking, drugs, and alcohol will be in the test. Okay? Smoking, drugs, and alcohol will be in the test. Probably I should not repeat those words much more. Otherwise, the algorithm will jump. And what was the other questions? What are the other questions? Any more questions? Did I miss any question above? Okay, guys, please treat each other nicely. You need to pay attention, and you should even, some of you should even take notes. Okay, so what I want to do now with you is to watch the Amoeba Sisters video together, okay? About the food that has more proteins, I would say perhaps chicken has a lot of proteins. I don't know. Meat in general has lots of proteins. Fish has lots of proteins. There are some vegetables and plants, they have proteins too. I mean, you should not be very focused only into proteins, because, to be honest, your body depends on your weight. You can only tolerate and take certain amount of proteins. And if you take more than that, your body's not gonna your body's not gonna be stronger because you eat 1 kilogram proteins every day. It doesn't work like that, okay? Your body depends on your weight, can take certain amount of proteins, and if you take anything more, then you will just pee. You will just pee proteins, which is not very good, because your kidneys, when they need to filter lots of proteins, they suffer. So it's not very good. All right, just double checking, because clearly it seems like you know more about the topic than me. Can I watch a video in YouTube in here, or I cannot? Tell me. No. So someone is saying no. I cannot watch a YouTube video in here. Is that correct? What do you think? Is that correct? You will be attacked because of copyright. Are you sure? I don't think there will be any problem. I mean, I am saying that it's a video from someone else, right? What is gonna be the problem? Yes, you see, told you. I can. They're not gonna sue me, guys. Come on. This is a very small channel at the moment. Nobody's gonna sue me, guys. Don't worry. Let's watch it together. Okay? Let's watch it together. So, let me share with you. Okay, so now, here it is. All right, and I want to put it in such a way that you can also hear what they say in the video. Okay, wait a second. I want you to see my face too. All right, there you go. All right, let's make it bigger. Can we make it bigger? Not sure if we can make it bigger. Well, like this is also. Oh, yes, come on. Now it's bigger. But yes, now this is what I wanted. This is what I'm talking about. All right, let's see now if you can hear the video.
Is it odd to have a favorite protein? Well, I don't think so. Probably because my favorite protein happens to remind me of one of my favorite childhood games, Pac-Man. If you haven't played Pac-Man before, then chances are we're much, much older than you. But now you can play it on Google. Just Google Pac-Man. It's a Google Doodle. Anyway, I digress. But see, in Pac-Man...
Question, can you hear the video? Can we all hear the video? Yes? Hello? Can you hear the video? Yes, subtitles are in English now. Oh, come on, you can hear it.
You have this little character.
Stop being a crying baby, please.
Around, finds these pebbles, and the pebbles fit right into it. Well, a lot of illustrations that you will find of enzymes, they happen to look, at least us, a lot like Pac-Man. I remember P for Pac-Man and P for protein. Most enzymes are proteins. Now, in the game, we mentioned there are these little pebbles that Pac-Man goes after. Well, enzymes have a specifically shaped area called an active site, where items can bind. The items are called substrates. It's very specific binding because the active site is specifically shaped for the substrate that binds there. Very specific. So,
this is what I mentioned earlier to one of your questions, is that the enzyme only works under very specific condition and only binds to one substrate. It's very loyal. It's not cheating to the substrate. It's only for that substrate only, okay? And remember that one of the functions of enzymes is to speed up chemical reactions to make them quick enough for our chemical reactions to happen. Without enzymes, digestions will take much longer and our life will be much more difficult because we are very active. If you think about it, we move a lot, we do lots of activities, and always thanks to that digestion, among other chemical reactions, they happen very, very fast. And one of the reasons why they happen very fast is because of enzymes. Without enzymes, those reactions will happen very slowly. And it will take maybe even days to digest our food. And it will not be possible. Life will be much more difficult. Okay? Let's continue with the video.
What happens when a substrate binds an enzyme? Well, usually the substrate is held there with some weak bonds because it's not going to stay there forever. And something called induced fit will happen, which means the active site can change its shape even more to bind that substrate, like an enzyme substrate hug. The enzyme can either build up or break down the substrates that specifically bind to it, and we call the resulting item the product. An enzyme has the ability to really speed up reactions that technically could happen on their own, but with the help of enzymes, they can be sped up to make processes effective for life. Let me give you a great real-life example. The enzyme lactase. Another really cool thing about enzymes is that they often end in ASE, like lactase. Many sugars, on the other hand, end in OSE, and lactose is an example of a sugar. Lactose is a disaccharide, meaning it contains two sugar molecules bound together. We don't actually digest it so well in that form. It's big. The enzyme lactase has the ability to break lactose down into smaller parts that our body can digest. And
so to clarify, people who are lactose intolerant is because A, their body does not have lactase, or B, their body does not produce enough lactase. And that therefore for them is very difficult to digest lactose, which is mostly milk, cheese, yogurt. And that's why these people, whenever they eat milk, for example, whenever they drink milk, better said, they feel very, very sick. Because the process that for us is very easy and just take a few couple hours, for them it takes much longer and it's much more difficult to digest and produce pain, diarrhea, and even vomiting. Okay? It's because of the presence of lactase. Well, in this case,
this is a lot better
lactose.
Than waiting for a chemical reaction with lactose to happen spontaneously. Now, with the lactase enzyme, lactose can be broken down quickly and digested. Now, there are some people that do not produce enough lactase. They can be what we call lactose intolerant, which means that if they consume foods that have lactose, such as milk, it can make them sick. They can't break the lactose down efficiently without lactase. In that example, one thing to point out, lactase, the enzyme, can break down a lot of lactose, the substrate. The lactase doesn't get used up in the reaction. It's still there. We call enzymes a catalyst because they can be...
So a disaccharide is one saccharide joined with another saccharide. And one example of saccharide is glucose. So when we have one glucose with another glucose, we call that disaccharide. Remember that in chemistry, D means two. Okay? So disaccharide means two saccharides. And one example of a saccharide is sugar. All right? Thank you.
Used over and over and over and over in the reaction. By the way, your digestive system uses all kinds of enzymes. You have lipase, and that breaks down lipids, which are fats. You have amylase, which breaks down starch. You have protease, which breaks down proteins. So, as you can see, the digestive system is very involved with enzymes. Another thing to point out is that enzymes don't always work alone. Sometimes they...
All right, I think this is all I need you to learn about enzymes. I'm going to share the video with you in our chat, and I recommend you to finish. I think if you know about digestive system and you know about enzymes, now with 1 hour and a half more revision, you have the exam completely covered. And more important than the exam is the fact that this topic is absolutely fascinating. For those who like biology, enzymes is going to be something that's going to go with you forever, and it's super fun and super important. Okay? Enzymes, they are fantastic, fabulous. All right? And try to remember my metaphor of the key with the keyhole, and try to remember that the enzymes, they are very picky. They are very, very special. All right? I think that is gonna be everything for everyone who is interested into biology key stage 3. You know what is gonna happen. So now, if you want, you can go through the video again. It's gonna be recorded. It's gonna be in Twitch. It's gonna be in YouTube. All right. No, the food does not pass through the lungs, obviously, because lungs, they form part of your respiratory system, not part of your digestive system. And food does not pass through the liver. food goes mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, anus, out. Okay? Undigested food in the digestive system, you just poo. Okay? And I think I missed one question. I think I missed one question. And also what I wanted to say is that now DTADITZ, my moderator, he can make some clips with some key definitions for you to have a look. Okay? Fantastic. Ooh, it has been longer than I expected. My initial idea was to make it like half an hour, 40 minutes, and we are now in almost 52 minutes. Next one is gonna be tomorrow. I'm gonna talk about chemistry. Next one is gonna be on Sunday. I'm not very sure what are we going to talk. So if a person damages its pancreas, it will not be able to digest properly, and also if the pancreas doesn't work well, it will release toxic substances, all right? And it will obviously be very unhealthy, and actually you cannot live without pancreas, all right? You cannot live without pancreas, all right? Liver is fascinating. For example, something that just came to my mind and I want to share it with you because I think it's fascinating. Liver, you can live with a piece of liver only, and that is gonna grow again to original size. So for example, you could potentially donate a part of your liver, and that is gonna grow into a new liver, and you can live with a part of your liver, and that is gonna grow into a new part of liver. But that's not happening with all the organs. I don't think your pancreas regrow. So when I mean mechanical, that is happening in your mouth, and also because the food in your gut, it moves. Mechanical means movement and also pressure and also force. Okay? I don't understand digestion system. Watch the video again. Because we have been here for an hour and I cannot start everything again from the beginning. Okay? We are very close to the 100 followers. If you think that this is useful, you can recommend to your friends. You can send it around. Everyone is welcome if they follow some simple rules as focus into science, love and compassion, and be respectful. Okay? Procy stars, if you want to animate any video, you are more than welcome. Any help is welcome. Love you, all of you. Good luck those who have an exam. Okay? And that's all. That's everything from me, guys. Have a lovely evening. Now I'm gonna have a lesson with my lovely physics A level. That's gonna be hard physics. Everyone is welcome to join, but the level is a bit more complicated. Good luck. Have a lovely evening. Ciao, ciao.